People of the internet, today we are going to try and answer Club Ambition's question: why are all the white comedy podcasters fighting? So let's find out.
Crazy major. I'm calling it the major white comedian podcaster beef currently happening. That a lot of people are not talking about it because they're not tapped into the white comedian podcaster world.
It's funny when you go to different communities or cultures and how they look. It's just so funny. It's just such a funny way to label it. I mean, because in a way that title just like these crazy ass people, comedy beef. That's what it sounds like to me. It just, it's just funny how other people label it. We're over here calling it the comedy wars, and they're calling it the white comedian wars. Oh, how the world is ironic.
Like I am. But I am, so I'm here to deliver this to you guys and bring it to our world here. But Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz over the weekend went off on Mark Maron. Mark Maron recently announced that he is canceling his podcast. He's basically one of the pioneers of podcasting. It's Mark Maron, Joe Rogan, Tom Green. There's a lot of people from that era that stayed doing that podcast style of content to this day, and Mark Maron is one of them. All right, one of the founding fathers of podcasting. He's finally ended his podcast, the WTF What the Fuck podcast. His last episode, I believe he interviewed Barack Obama. But Mark Maron recently went off on Joe Rogan after he's been kind of going off on him since 2020 when Joe Rogan had Trump on. Mark Maron's been very vocal about these type of platforms misusing their influence and the actual, reach that they get when they have someone like a Trump on their podcast. This was Mark Maron's take, right? Mark Maron, again, has been going off on Joe Rogan. People have always said, like, why isn't Mark Maron kind of like friends with Joe Rogan? He went on Joe Rogan's podcast in the past years ago, but there had never been like more of a collaboration, more of a friendship. People have always seen him kind of like that, almost, for lack of better terms, they're almost like the white Charlemagne the God and Joe Budden, like in the podcast world, where people are like, hey, there's like this beef between them, but there's similarities. Why aren't they working together? This is what they've always felt like, right? It's been the online narrative, but it's now went to a heightened level. Mark Maron recently was also on the Bad Friends podcast, my favorite comedy podcast, where Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee.
Damn, this guy's tapped in. Maybe he should become a Rogan Sphere channel. He's got all the details, except he did say 2020 when Trump went on, and it was 2024. But besides that, I mean, this guy is tapped in. But one thing everybody gets wrong about this is Joe Rogan started this beef with Mark Maron and Joe Rogan's first encounter and first time working together. You gotta, if you're gonna put this timeline, you've got to say that, because a lot of people, like Mark does have his ways, right? And people know him. But because of that, a lot of people want to put this whole beef on Mark. And it's not that. Joe Rogan starts trouble. He's a little gossip girl. That's one thing you got to get right. Joe Rogan is a little drama gossip girl. So, but somehow he skates by on these things, and I don't know why. It's out there,
On that podcast was where he was like shitting on Rogan and subbing. I felt like he was subbing Andrew Schultz as well. And then what made it more controversial was the fact that a couple weeks later, Andrew Santino from the Bad Friends podcast went on the Joe Rogan podcast. But they didn't address Mark Maron. They didn't talk about Mark Maron being on. So it's almost like, yeah, you had my op on your podcast, but then you come on my podcast and it's like, oh, we don't talk about it, etc. Joe Rogan has been pretty much quiet about Mark Maron. He hasn't said shit about him. He hasn't really addressed him. He hasn't really cared to. He has now finally unleashed the wrath on Mark Maron. Here's one clip specifically when Andrew Schultz went on.
I'm sorry, guys. A lot of times I'm laughing because, listening to him tell the beef, I think this whole comedy beef is absolutely stupid, but incredibly hilarious and entertaining. I mean, like this little Rogan Sphere Saudi saga that's been going on, it's been one of the most entertaining ones in a while. And every time I hear someone else tell a story about it, it just makes me laugh. We are blessed to be in a time with peak comedian reality show drama right before us. And you know, one of the first things I do when I wake up is I look up into the sky and say, whoever up there made me, thank you for the Rogan Sphere drama right now. It is very enjoyable to say the least.
On Joe Rogan's podcast, and he brought up the topic, and he basically laid the plant for this man to go off, right? And he went off. Here's the clip.
Forgive. You know what I mean? You have somebody on your pod who had someone on their pod talking shit. You're better than me.
He's talking about Andrew Santino.
You gotta be able to just let things go.
I can't wait for Gavin Newsom to go on Bad Friends. I can't. I want to see I'm distancing myself from the Rogan Sphere tour.
That's
First
hilarious.
stop, Bad Friends.
That's hilarious.
Dude, Andrew. I mean, Andrew, here's the thing about Andrew. What he's doing right now is really bad. Andrew is out there, you know, just shit talking, and he's thinking he's righteous. And because these people didn't bow down to Joe Rogan in the Rogan Sphere and actually called him out for some bullshit, right? Andrew thinks he's righteous and he's doing the right thing. But the more I see of Andrew right now, and he's going on. I mean, I bet you he continues on his next podcast. Andrew is just full bore into this shit right now. But the thing he's doing is Andrew isn't a top podcast. He isn't. He doesn't even make the top 100 YouTube podcast list. He doesn't make Spotify's list, but Bad Friends does. All these people he's shit talking do. They're big. So right now, Andrew thinks he's on a righteous putting people in their place tour, but he's basically on a burning bridges tour. And that's what it is, because here's the other thing about this Rogan Sphere drama. Joe Rogan, outside of my opinion, my belief, I know I have a channel that just does all their drama, right? Okay. And I don't side with him. Okay. But just looking at the situation and the facts don't support the Rogan Sphere and Andrew Schultz. And most people, even their fans with the Saudi shit, know those guys sold out because they've been feeding their fans America this, and then they do that. Even they know they sold out. This is just hurting them, because you can shit on Bad Friends podcast all you want. And look, again, I'm not a fan. I don't listen to Bad Friends, so I really have no opinion on that show, right? I have no idea about their history. But here's the point. Andrew's getting 100,000 to 200,000 on his Flagrant. His Riyadh comedy special that he posted only got 200,000 views, and you got 200. But that's low for those guys, because Bad Friends podcast is getting millions of views. And all this Mark Maron drama pointing you out is getting millions of views. You talked your shit to your 200,000 views, and that shit talking got put all over the place. And all the videos, if you must know, because I've been looking to see all the updates on this, none of the videos are in Andrew Schultz's favor. So when you thought you were going to go run your mouth and talk shit and people were going to agree with you, you just made things terribly worse, and you're just burning and setting fire to bridges everywhere. And I have to say, the Joe Rogan episode did get over 1 million views with Andrew Schultz on it, but it's nothing compared to the backlash views. And so I think Andrew's doing a bad job, because now not only those comedians he talks shit to, but the comedians that are friends with those comedians, and then people in the comedy community are all going to have a bad taste in their mouth for Andrew, because they know he's sucking up to Joe Rogan. They know he's sold out to Saudi Arabia, and doesn't give a fuck about anybody, and they know he's lying. So you can talk shit, but if you're lying, selling out, and all of this, it doesn't work in your favor because people know. Just get that. Just understand that.
I thought that was corny.
Yeah.
I thought it was corny.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know. It is what it is.
You're more forgiving.
There's no time that you should, in my mind, no time that you.
So Santino says, no, Schultz says that basically Andrew Santino, he thought it was corny having Mark Maron on and then going on the Joe Rogan podcast. So that's like, oh shit, there's a beef between Andrew Santino and Andrew Schultz now. Who the fuck knew? I didn't know. What the fuck? And the two Andrews, right, are fighting. What the fuck is going on? And then we have Joe Rogan revealing, hey, I spoke to him about it. We talked about that. So they probably talked about it, obviously, behind the scenes, because on the Joe Rogan podcast episode, they never addressed it at all. They didn't address it at all. Mark Maron, it wasn't brought up. It wasn't a topic of conversation unless it was edited out. And then now, also, they continue going off on Mark
Let me
Maron.
reflect on this. It doesn't make any sense because it doesn't make any sense because those people are doing a job outside of comedy.
Exactly.
Just like me. I'm doing a job outside of comedy too.
But you can't even give it any credence. It's like the guy, every criticism he has, he's guilty of. Like, he's like, how dare you have presidents on the pod and have fun with them? And it's like, you had Obama before anybody. You started this. You didn't ask Obama anything about fucking drone strikes or whatever. And frankly, and I love Obama. I just want to point that out. Like, I actually really do. And I know there's probably fucked up shit that anybody in power got to do. But, like, I liked him.
I love him as a statesman. I think he was the best statesman we've ever had.
You just felt good.
Yes.
You just felt good.
We felt like he's a great representative of America.
100%.
Was another level.
Anyway, but it's like, yeah, you did it. You did the thing. You did the exact same thing. Talk all this shit about like, oh,
we just had him on recently. Didn't ask him anything.
Of course he did.
Anything like would you have repealed the Smith-Mundt Act?
But
if
is
you knew
that
the
surprising
consequences
to
of
you?
it? No, not
of course
to
not,
me.
because we know, because we're inside.
Well, this is the thing. He like positions himself as this intellectual, but he doesn't say anything interesting.
Yeah,
there's nothing that guy ever says where I'm like, wow, that's a unique insight.
That's the thing.
Fucking never. It's childish with a good vocabulary.
No, I think he's a smart guy. I think he's probably smarter than he is funny. And I think that drives him crazy.
Yeah, but he's also too obsessed with himself to be reflective enough to understand like why other people don't like him.
Wait, you're saying?
Whoa, isn't that a big statement coming from Joe Rogan, to be obsessed with oneself? I mean, this guy is juiced to the gills. Juiced to the gills. He's looking extra juicy right now. You look at his shirt, his shoulders are all popping out and shit. You know, that guy is loading up. He gets himself a super soaker. Forget the syringes. He gets a fucking super soaker and he blasts it straight up his asshole to get the best and fastest and most potent benefit. It's insane that a man could say he's too obsessed when Joe Rogan behind the scenes is controlling, canceling, kicking people out of the club, off stages, creating all this drama. Don't forget, people forget this, okay? Okay, people want to blame Mark Maron right now, but remember a year ago when Bert was mad about a comedian that talked shit about him. And remember when it all played out, it was Joe Rogan that blamed Mark Maron for saying that comedian, the Mark Maron talked shit about Bert. Bert got mad at the comedian Mark Maron, right? That's what Joe Rogan said when it turned out Mark Maron was talking about Dave Chappelle. But Joe Rogan was the one that created it, called Bert, and started all that drama. People forget that. Joe Rogan wants to act like, oh, but Joe, why did you make it all up? Joe Rogan literally made that all up and then went and created drama with Bert, which then turned into this thing. Do you not remember that? But you could also say, well, look, Mark Maron does talk shit about comedians because he was talking shit about Dave Chappelle. But I think we've all come to terms how Mark is acting. I don't think that's, I mean, what else can you say about it? Mark does that, you know? But we have to say it. But the point is Joe Rogan has been trying to skate by, and the people glazing his nuts are trying to skate by. But remember, Joe started drama that wasn't even directly There's no way Joe Rogan should have been involved in that. It had nothing to do with him. And Joe Rogan heard a podcast and started drama with Mark. So don't act like Joe's like, oh, I don't start. You started shit with him last year. One of y'all is starting shit almost every year with each other. People forget that. People forget the Burt Mark Maron drama last year. There's videos about it. Everybody did it. Don't forget that, because Joe starts drama too.
The guy who talks by himself for 5 minutes before the president comes on, 15 minutes. If there wasn't for Fast Forward, there would be no Maron podcast.
Yeah.
And that was
just
before
a rant.
Yeah.
So they went off, right? They later on go on to say, we know who the pieces of shit are in our industry. So this is like real deal comedian beef happening behind the scenes. And Joe Rogan also highlights the Mark Maron joke that Mark Maron made about another podcaster. There's like multi-layers to this. Mark Maron had a viral joke about Theo Von, one of the biggest podcasts.
I like how much he gets into this. A lot of the comments I get, why are you so obsessed with this? I'm not obsessed with it. I just make videos about it. I spend like an hour a day, maybe 2, looking into it. But if you want to know, this drama's good. And we love reality TV here at Lion Meows. So yeah, I'm going to be watching. Your girls watching Real Housewives. Us boys got to have the Rogan Sphere shit. And I bet you they would like this shit too. I bet you. I've seen a lot of ladies commenting lately on my stuff. Because they know what's up. This is good shit. And you know Bravo ain't putting no shit out right now. So this is what we got, boys. Buckle up and enjoy the show.
In the world, I love Theo Von. Theo Von, I guess, got like very emotional and dark. And recently, he kind of had that energy in the past couple months. And then Joe Rogan ties it to this joke this whole time, right? Mark Maron had this joke, and I'll play it real quick. It's a short, funny joke. I think it's hilarious about Theo Von.
Apologized. I think if Hitler were alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast.
It's a good joke.
Would be like, see, y'all did a lot of meth, right? I mean, all the Nazis were all fucked up on meth, right, Hitler? That shit'll make you crazy, dog. I did some meth once. I was up for 3 days, and then I ate a live bird. No shit, Hitler, a live bird, bro. Hey, Hitler, you probably didn't even hate the Jews. That was just the meth making you crazy, dog. Hey, Hitler.
This is my first time here. I didn't know he went all in like that. But I mean, it's pretty accurate. You know, he did do that to Trump. Asked him about cocaine. You know, it's. I think Mark Maron's approach is a lot softer on this, and I wouldn't even say he's talking trash. He even says it. He's like, I'm just giving you my opinions or synopsis of the situation. And the jokes, like, who cares? If someone has a joke about you, like, shit, you know? But I can see it, like, Mark Maron. I'm not mad at him because I'm loving this. But Mark Maron does go after comedians. It's quite apparent. I mean, he goes after all of them. And I think he probably has his own insecurity issues he has to work on. But looking at this objectively, Mark Maron is like levels below what, like Joe Rogan is starting to try to end Mark Maron with this one. This one, the way they're coming at it is a lot deeper and more insulting. And they're also putting labels on Mark Maron himself. And of course, not addressing the drama.
Hey, Hitler. Do you want to apologize to all the Jews right now on my show? No? I get it.
Yeah, he low-key sounds like him.
He low-key sounds like Theo Von. So he made fun of Theo Von, basically saying that Theo Von would basically interview anyone, even Hitler. If Hitler was alive, he would be on the Theo Von podcast, right? Which I found hilarious. And his actual mocking of Theo Von was funny. But Theo Von, I guess, is sent him in a dark space, according to Joe Rogan, and it fucked him up mentally when Mark Maron made this joke. right? Because I guess he probably felt like, damn, people perceive me this way. This is how people see me, right? And he probably had a moment of self-reflection. And also, Bad Friends, when you go on their YouTube channel, they removed Mark Maron from their thumbnail when they interviewed Mark Maron on the episode. They changed the thumbnail and everything.
People were saying that I lied about that. You know, I may not be the brightest, but I am the most accurate comedy comedy commentary channel. The Triple C. I'm the most accurate Triple C out there.
So that episode where that went viral with Mark Maron, the interview's still up. There's like a part that seems like it was kind of edited during the interview, but maybe it was already edited before. I'm not sure if that's like a new edit.
Told you.
But if you go to the comments of the Bad Friends podcast interview with Mark Maron, all the comments keep saying, "Oh my God, Daddy Rogan made the call. Daddy Rogan made the call. You guys are folding for Daddy Rogan. You guys
Jesus
switched up the
Christ.
thumbnail for Daddy Rogan. Oh my God, Daddy Rogan."
Dude, this guy, I gotta give him props. He's broken this down better than anybody has in the Triple C community. He's broken it. He's got all the details. He said in the beginning, you know, I'm tapped in. Jeez, brother. I didn't know this guy's got the tea on everybody.
You guys like gripped by the balls. So there's this whole. I've been like in this deep rabbit hole looking at all this because I didn't know this was really happening. I'm like, damn, I forgot all about this. Like,
Niggas say fuck the pod. I just looked it up.
like the comments are going crazy. I think that there's some right to what Mark Maron says because he's just very critical of like how we addressed it last week, the influence that these podcasters have during the Trump situation and how they're now talking about Trump and like backtracking things. There's a lot of hypocrisy in that.
Yeah, he sounds like a hater because he sounds like he's doing the same exact thing he's calling out.
But then Mark Maron has a lot of moments of hypocrisy himself. What makes it more interesting, Mark Maron, I think there's going to be one day a very dope documentary about him because there's so many levels to him. He had a whole situation with Jon Stewart where he was like jealous of Jon Stewart's career and he had a whole beef with Jon Stewart.
Jesus Christ.
And then now he's like admittedly said like, yeah, I was just jealous of the guy. Like he gets jealous.
Do you see that? Everybody was complaining about that, and Mark Maron admitted it. I mean, that's a lot better than what Rogan is doing. Rogan is just insulting people and trying to belittle people's careers. And then the haters, he just hates on us, right? And Mark Maron, you see, you know, what can you say to Mark now? At some point, Rogan's going to have to address the issues. He can't run forever.
Of people and shits on them. Like it's like a thing that he does. It's crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I've always known about him as like a legend in the podcast space. I never really listened to his podcast because he's not a video podcast guy. He's just audio only. He recently started doing like a video here and there, but he's like a core podcaster to the essence still where he was still just only audio. So he never tried to adapt to the new world or whatever the case may be. He really made his money seem like from being a comedian. Also, an actor. If you look him up, he's in a lot of he's in a lot of dope shit, bro. Yeah. He's in a lot of dope shit.
I didn't even know he was in the Joker. I was like confused.
Yeah, he's in the Joker. Like he's in a lot of dope things.
I'm trying to remember.
He's a good
where
actor.
I saw him in
He's
that
a good
movie.
actor. I think he's a good actor. I think he's pretty funny as well. I think if it comes to stand up, I think he's funnier than Rogan. I think Rogan's stand up is not.
Maybe that's why Rogan is jealous of Mark, because deep down inside, I mean, he has to know. There's no way Joe Rogan doesn't know his comedy sucks at this point. Like the whole last year, the world made it its point to tell Joe Rogan his comedy sucks. So maybe that's where Rogan's jealousy stems from. I think it's probably where he stems from. He knows he's not a good comic, you know? And so he just has to try and control things. That's what people that can't do. People that can't control.
It's not really that funny. It's not my type of comedy.
Rogan's never been like a good comic for me. He's been a better interviewer than anything else.
And I think Rogan's very hilarious on his podcast.
Yeah, on his podcast.
More than his stand-up, I would say.
Because he like builds off the people he's talking with. Like they go into their little bits together.
Yes, but it's very interesting to see where there is a lot of biases being shown here because they're just mad. For example, the Theo Vaughn joke's hilarious.
That's funny.
Andrew
That's
Schultz
just
and Joe
funny.
Rogan are always Mr. Let's protect all jokes. But now, since it's a joke against your friend,
And it's
right?
making your friend look
and it's
a
making your
certain way.
friend like emotional.
And it's also your friend has been targeted for this exact issue on the internet. This is the biggest thing. He literally was on the Department. We reported the Department of Homeland Security's video. You look crazy. Niggas been calling you out for being a hypocrite because now you want to backpedal.
Exactly.
And now this nigga's doubling down on the fact that you got caught backpedaling.
Yes,
That's all this is.
exactly.
And they know they're next. That's the other part. They're getting ahead of what comes for them. Because when Andrew Schultz finally sits there and calls out Trump, he's gonna look crazy.
Yeah.
Because Charlamagne's been telling him, bro, you look nuts. The same with Rogan. Niggas been telling Rogan, what are you doing copying for this guy, bro?
Yeah, no. And my thing is this though, the mark.
This is good. They're so wound. You see what Rogan does to people? You see what Roga's propaganda does to people? It's got people wound up. That's why we need to bring a stop to it.
Marin situation is funny, and I would recommend anyone to go like down a deep rabbit hole with this because it's fucking crazy. But aside from it, they know him personally, right? So maybe there is like some personal shit because there clearly is personal shit behind the scenes where
Oh, without a doubt.
like shit might have happened at these comedy shows, etc. Like because they are like Rogan's been quiet for a while, but he's now finally
Because he's going to
unleashing-
church, though.
Yeah, well, he's religious.
You
Rogan,
haven't seen the thing? That
he's religious now.
He has some guy on the pod, a big Christian theorist, I think it was. And since then, he's been going to church.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was all over the news that like he's been attending mass. I think.
Yeah, Brian Callen talked about it too on that storage unit podcast. They talked about how he goes to church and Brendan Shaw was calling him a liar and that it's fake. There's a whole like 30 minutes of a podcast episode dedicated to that. Should check it out.
I think he goes to Catholic church. I might be wrong.
Wow.
But he goes to church. That's been a whole thing. That's why I thought he stopped posting was because he was going to church.
Listen, I would just recommend you guys to go watch this shit because this shit's hilarious, man. And it is interesting, right? Rogan might be like how we were saying about LeBron, where he does have power because they changed the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at that point. Just delete the fucking episode. Like if you guys want to change the thumbnail, like they were like look at the
I know, I looked it
the
up. It looks
difference.
crazy.
Like it's like he's on the thumbnail, Mark Maron, and then they remove him completely. And then you watch the podcast. The whole podcast is Mark Maron. They're interviewing him the whole podcast. So it's this clearly like, hey, Santino's like, yo, I'm your friend. I'll remove him from the thumbnail. But why? Just delete the interview.
My thing is Rogan and Schultz. What are you gonna do when the rooster comes to roost? Bro, whatever the saying is.
What the fuck is? I
When
forgot.
the
I know what you
rooster
mean, but I
comes to-
forgot
Never
the
heard of
phrase.
that shit.
When the rooster comes to
Rooster comes.
something, you know what I'm saying?
When the cock comes to cadoodling.
Cadoodling.
I don't know.
What are you gonna do? Because they're up next. The jokes are gonna come for them too. Because
Yeah,
what he's talking about, they're also victims of.
I can see a Dave Chappelle. I can see a future Dave Chappelle
doing this to them.
Bit. The same way Mark Maron made fun of Theo Vaughn, Dave Chappelle makes fun of Rogan
Rogan.
and Schultz.
And
And
was-
already he wasn't really fucking with Schultz too much. Chappelle in the past, like he.
Well, you're going to have to go to Saudi Arabia if you want to see that joke, folks, because Dave is officially sold himself. He got a free camel, too. I mean, the money sounded good, but the camel, I mean, really seals the deal, huh?
He was calling Chappelle, what Andrew Schultz did during the COVID. He was like, oh, slideshow comedy. Like, he's like, oh, I'm not into slideshows. Some shit like that. He subliminally kind of came at Schultz.
I remember that.
So it's interesting. This Rogan sphere and Rogan universe, I'm sorry, I love Rogan, but brother, you cannot deny it. Like,
Y'all did this.
anything, like he was like, remember Prime Drake when Drake would like co-sign somebody, he'll post somebody. He posted fucking even Baby Keem, etc. Yeet.
Mhm.
It would help people's careers. Like people were like, look him up. Who are these people? Who is Drake co-signing? Are they gonna be working with him? Rogan would do that, and it would help people blow the fuck up. And they admit it. Bert Kreischer, etc. Right? Anyone that was tied to Joe Rogan, their podcast and their relevancy became
whatever they're talking
bigger.
about.
Became bigger because he's that much of a fucking personality.
Yep.
By just having him on, by just being on his podcast, your book is potentially a New York Times bestseller the next week. That's how much of influence Joe Rogan has. There's 40 million people who listen to Joe Rogan every week. Like, his influence is huge. So
That's crazy, but it's not true. It's down to the like 5 or 4 million. Boy, has he fallen.
the brosphere that he had, like he can't deny it. Like this Rogan sphere. So people are always gonna say this shit. So coincidentally, when a lot of you in his vicinity have the same like opinions on shit, people are gonna be like, oh, these guys must have had a call. Like, oh, he must have called the Bad Friends guys. Like he must have called them to delete the thumbnail. Like it can't. I don't think it's really just them solely doing it. I think there's conversations that be had, and it's like his influence gets seen. But then at the same time, one can argue maybe he's deserving of that because he's done so much for them. They may be.
It don't matter how short or long that leash is. It is a leash at the end of the day. And that's why you don't let people leash you. You know, it's crazy. I brought this up too, and people forget. They changed the thumbnail, the title, all that shit. They did. You know, if you're going to talk that trash, you need to stand on it, you know? If you cowering like that only makes you more of a victim, because now your Joe knows he can control you. So what's the future for Santino look like under that Joe Rogan leash? I just like, man, people don't realize all they chase money, cars, houses, jewelry, all that bullshit. But freedom. That's right. You look at all those billionaires. They got all that times 1,000. They're still looking for something, right? They just don't realize that the freedom that they have, the will to wake up, do what you want every single day. Woo. Not to be told by a boss or another person how you got to live your life. Everyone's chasing the wrong thing, man. Chase freedom.
Like, yo, fuck it. Whatever you need, Joe. Like, we got to protect you at all costs. But they might have that energy.
That's great. Cool. Thank you, Chev, for giving me the slogan. Chickens have come home to roost. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chev.
Oh.
The chickens have come home to roost.
Shout out to the Chevolution.
Chevolution. Yup. Go follow that on IG. I believe the chickens are here. I believe that Joe Rogan is going to have a bad positioning in this situation because you have done a crusade defending comedy, saying that all comedy needs to be protected, like you said.
Woo.
This is a scenario where you're censoring comedy because it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit your friends. And it's going to open you up to public scrutiny because you are a victim of the same thing they're calling out. So, I said victim. You are a perpetrator of the same thing they're calling out. So, this is my question to you, Vic.
Okay.
Let's say, hypothetically, Dave Chappelle or another mega giant comes for him. And these niggas just start like the little Rogan bots. Like the people who have their allegiance to Rogan, who have their careers because of Rogan. They take his side and they start censoring these comics. Can we publicly call Rogan a hypocrite? Like, at that point, what do you think is going to happen in Rogan's career? Do you see people turning on him if that's the type of action he starts to take?
Oh, hell yeah. I see it. I can see that happening. Because already, for example, like those comments were very alerting to me. I saw the Bad Friends comments and they're like, Daddy Rogan. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this is a narrative that I don't think is going to escape anytime soon because Rogan just keeps doubling down on this shit. Like, one thing is to shit on someone, but then it's like you do things that people try to do to you, the censoring, etc. And then you try, like, if that comes out, like Santino's like, yeah, Rogan called us, so we changed the thumbnail.
You don't look crazy.
It's like,
yeah.
Like, okay, wait a minute. Like, we're going to censor this now? Like, what? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. But don't be mad, let's say, at Marin more. Be mad at, like, maybe Santino if you're really that close to him. Be like, yo, damn, you should have called him out more when you had him on, etc. Maybe. But to control it is different to me, like, to act, because it's already out there.
Yeah. The free speech mob has no right.
Or call him out while he's there on your podcast, because Santino went on. They had a 3-hour podcast, and to be honest,
you could call him on. Yeah.
Rogan spoke more. I watched the podcast. Rogan spoke like 80% of the time. I'm not going to lie. So maybe there was some tension. That's why Santino didn't get much speaking time, but Rogan was speaking to himself the whole podcast.
I think
So-
he's pissed. But my thing is this: you put a president in office because of the free speech issue.
Mhm.
That was his biggest thing, was free speech. The other big thing, and that was Elon's biggest thing too. Like him and Elon, oh my God, like I remember these Rogan videos like they were yesterday. I think Elon went on that podcast like 4 times that year.
Yeah, smoked a blunt with him a couple times, or
Yeah.
one time at least.
And they were like really pushing this narrative. So for you to change the thumbnail, if he had taken down the video, that would have been worse for me. Because it's like, my fucking God, you people are such fucking hypocrites. And you undermine the democracy by, utilizing your overwhelming influence and power to get this person in office.
Sorry, guys. I've just been taking a moment to savor all of that. You see, people see it. It's not just us. We're not just liars. We're not just crazy. People see it, and people, that's the thing. No matter how hard they try to cover this up, everybody's seeing it, and you can't stop it. And Rogan's going to take the hit at the end of the day. Mark Maron's getting a boost. Everyone's talking about Mark Maron. It doesn't matter how much people hate Mark Maron, because he has a ton supporting him, and new people because they hate Rogan. Rogan isn't getting any new fans. Everybody already knows who Rogan is. Everybody's already made up their opinion on Rogan. That's why I say Rogan is not going to grow. I don't think the youth, like, I'm sure everyone under 25, I could even say 30, hates Joe Rogan. I mean, they hate us too. They just, except the 90s. They wish they were us because we grew up in the 90s. You know what I mean? But Rogan does not benefit. In fact, Rogan only, it only gets worse for Rogan from here. He only loses fans at this point. This is who Joe Rogan is. He's that boss that everybody knows is a complete waste of time and an asshole. And then the boss himself knows that everybody knows he's an asshole. And so he just goes in on it, and he just gets blinded by his rage because he knows everybody thinks he's an asshole, because he is an asshole, but he won't change his ways. He won't acknowledge them. He just becomes worse and worse until finally, that corporate protection can no longer protect him, right? And see, we're seeing Joe Rogan spiral out, and he's just getting worse and worse. It's pretty bad that he recorded him and Schultz just shitting. I still can't get past that.
And it was for what? Because you're just going to be you were going to be a hypocrite on the issue anyway. You were still going to censor people you didn't agree with anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to be the exact issue you claimed you were putting President Trump in to stop. Like, you guys are just so...
Yeah, because the Theo Von joke, like, it made Theo Von feels dark and sad. It's like, but it's a funny ass joke. According to your standards, no jokes are off limits.
Thank you.
And on top of that, it's like,
God.
if we want to go that route, what about all these transphobic jokes, homophobic jokes? Doesn't it make these actual homosexual, transgender people feel offended and dark and sad? You think it's just Theo Von? It's like, I don't know.
Theo Von makes disability jokes all the time too, about how niggas have Down syndrome and shit. What is he talking about?
And if, to be honest, bro, I'm not sure. Rogan shouldn't have revealed that. Because I'm not sure I don't think Theo Von really revealed that. I think Rogan was the first one. Correct? Look,
Rogan did reveal that Theo Von had a breakdown because of Mark Maron's joke. Like I said, Rogan is a gossip girl. He loves drama. Dude, he does this all the time where he spills. You remember with Andrew Schultz last week, he brought up Tyson's whole personal information and situation that he had, right? I mean, but he always throws other people in there. I hate when people do that, when they try to avoid their drama, so they provide an excuse using somebody else's drama. It's such a shitty tactic.
correct me in the comments, but I think it might have been Rogan the first time. Like, I don't think Theo Von
I haven't seen Theo Von say anything about
said specifically, like, yo, this guy's joke fucked me up. Like, Rogan saying that, I'm like, damn.
That looks stupid.
You should have not said that then.
Yeah,
Because now you're going to look hypocritical this whole time. But
you're going to look crazy.
deep dive whenever you guys get the chance. And there's plenty of videos. There's a guy actually from Rhode Island. I forgot his YouTube channel. I think it's like off the top of my head, I forgot. But
someone said if Joe Rogan was your friend, wouldn't you do the same? What are we talking about?
Do what? The thumbnail change?
Yeah.
The thing is, how close of friends are they? Because if they were really friends, and I was Santino, I would edit it out. You wouldn't even see it. Like it wouldn't even come out. I'll be like, Marin, sorry, I gotta. That's Rogan's my boy. Like, or defend him more in that moment. Like I don't know, or maybe not have him on because he's gonna shit on Rogan. Like if Marin's whole thing is shitting on Rogan, like
My thing is this, Vic. I'm not mad at the front.
That's because Santino doesn't like Rogan. He just pretends. And all you have to do is look at their podcast, right? The clips that come out of their podcast, they're always shitting on Austin. They're always saying this. They've separated themselves. And it's not like the separation from LA to Austin. They've literally created a divide between them and the Austin comics. Though they're still friends, they've made it clear that all those people in Austin made stupid ass decisions. And that's not like the worst thing you can say, but when you're constantly saying to a person that you're stupid because you moved somewhere, it's going to get under people's skin, you know?
Friend. Because if I'm the friend, Joe Rogan's whole thing is free speech.
yeah.
What like that's my frustration here is like, so niggas can't speak. Like, if I don't say something nice about your friend, that's when you get to censor me. Like, yo, Joe, the hypocrisy is blatant. And the person in the chat saying Joe didn't help Trump win the election or make him win. Yes, he did. The exit polls, people are reporting the only reason they voted for Joe Rogan is because Trump. I mean, the only reason they voted for Trump is because they saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Podcasts have massive influence in politics now. And it's being reported. It's being documented. That's why we talk about politics here, because we want people to be informed.
Andrew Schultz and Santino in a boxing ring. Who wins?
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz is fit as fuck right now because he's practicing for a Street Fighter movie. He's gonna act with 50 Cent in a Street Fighter movie. Yeah, bro. He plays a character in Street Fighter movie.
This sounds like
it's crazy.
A straight cameo movie.
No. He's a main fighter. I forgot the name.
Is this real acting or cameo movie?
No, real live action. Live action. Yep. He's one of the Street Fighters. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
We'll see.
I mean, someone said a theory a little while ago about comedians escaping to Hollywood. Isn't it really funny that they all made fun of Hollywood? And whoever made that theory, it almost sounded too stupid to believe. But look, they're all running to movies. And here's why. Their comedy careers. You look at Andrew Schultz's numbers on his Flagrant podcast. It's not good for as big as he is. It's declined. No, I think Two Bears is doing like 20-30% worse, but it's down there with Two Bears now. What did Tom do? Fled to the movies. Hollywood, Netflix. What's Andrew doing? Maybe that's why he took that Saudi money, because he knew nobody was going to pay for his comedy anymore. The problem with Andrew is he's just been too arrogant, too much of an asshole. You know, you can be arrogant and an asshole, but you've got to sometimes come back down to earth and admit shit, right? He never does. And it's those people that never, or try not to look human. They always come down and they crash.
If his comedy is gonna be even funnier, but I think it might be a serious role. But Schultz did not fuck with what Santino did. That was hilarious to me. I'm like, oh shit, this beef just unearthed online everywhere. But that's major white comedian podcaster beef right now happening. We cover all the podcast beef here. We got to cover that one because I'm like, yo, this should be more covered, man, because this is not going anywhere anytime soon, especially Mark Maron. He's just gonna keep doing podcasts. He might come on here for all we know. If he's doing a podcast retirement tour, he's gonna go everywhere and promote himself because he has no podcast no more, so he's gonna do other people's podcasts. And the Joe Rogan and Maron podcast would be historical. Andrew Schultz, Santino's told Maron, what if you have him on here? What if he comes on Bad Friends, you and him? Like Bobby Lee was like, yeah, let's make it happen. Like, what if you guys have interview, come on here, blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens with that, but
Joe Rogan would get so mad. I honestly, the more this goes on, because it's just crazy that Joe dedicated a large part of a podcast. Like, he shits on like Gavin Newsom and stuff. But another comedian, I mean, he invited Kat on. Kat like trashed him. Trashed all his friends in one sentence. But I mean, that's like the blow. And Joe had him on and was still licking his nuts. So this is big for Rogan to go this far. We might have found Joe Rogan's kryptonite. And because of that, I'll be releasing a special edition t-shirt with Mark Maron's face and Joe's kryptonite under it. $19.99. Get them while they're hot, folks. Somebody's got to capitalize on this shit.
That would be a shouty match, especially right now. They would, if they do it, it have to be like right now during the Trump hypocrisy being called out. That's when they would have to. Oh my god!
Because one is clearly like
make it happen.
They're low key. They're both kind of grifting, but they're grifting for each side.
Yeah,
it's respectfully. So
that'd be a crazy podcast.
It's actually necessary. I hope they do it. That'd be fun to see
because Mayor's become the face of that. Like, and he was doing this, calling people out in the podcast world for years. But like I said, he's not in the video world, so he's not like mainstream. But if you know, you know. Like, he's still respected because he's been one of the pioneers. So, but he's one of the first people to call out Joe and shit. Not just now, like a lot of people are doing. He's been doing that shit the day the guy went on, the day Trump went on. Like, he was talking about it. So it's
you know what? This is
that'd
funny
be interesting
because the guy who first interviewed Obama. You know how you reported last week that he did the last interview with Obama?
Yeah, that's him, Mark Maron.
Oh, that's him.
That's the same guy.
Oh, yo,
that's Mark Maron.
They were frying him on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Vic, because I thought it was someone else. Vic, they were frying him because Obama was giving answers, and niggas on the internet are like, "Shut the fuck up, that's not true."
Yeah, that was Mark Maron,
bro. Because there were things that Obama was saying that I'm like, I know this isn't true. I remember learning this in class. Like, you are lying out of your ass. Some things were true. Like, he tried to pass universal basic health care. It didn't work.
But that's what people.
Of all the presidents of like the last, 20 years or so, I mean, that's not many, but at least for a couple, like for a generation, let's see. Obama and Trump are like the icons of, the parties at this point. And it's just great for people to point out that they're both full of shit. They were both incredibly full of shit. And that goes to my point why I'm not a big supporter of politics, is because it's all poo-poo. It is all poo-poo. It doesn't matter what side it comes from. It's always that both sides getting rich, us not getting rich. Us having to struggle, us having to figure out, us having to cut costs, while they're out there getting $2-3 million to do an appearance. Grace us with their presence. Was worth $2 million. Get the fuck out of here. They are con men. They are just high tier, S tier Herbalife sellers. That's what happens when you get to the top of the pyramid. That's what Obama and Trump both are. Con men.
We're shitting on Maron because they were like, yo, you're calling out Rogan, but hold up.
You're humanizing Obama on this podcast.
Why are you not shitting on Obama?
You should have.
But I think he's not going to because this is his last podcast.
So,
you know what I'm saying? I think that's what it is, bro. He was trying to, and I think he's actually friends with Obama because he's interviewed him in the past. I think they're actual friends, like real life friends.
My thing is, bro, you don't get the right to call out Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz about
hypocrisy again.
Yeah, because you're calling him out about them platforming Trump and helping him win the election. But bro, you're humanizing Obama, who's a war criminal. Like, it's not like, we call every U.S. president a war criminal. No,
I didn't say it.
Obama's a war criminal, bro. Like, Trump is bombing niggas in Venezuela right now and Colombia.
They all
using drones because Obama set the president. He did it first.
Yep.
Like, he was killing mad civilians. This shit is so
Drone
mind-blowing
king
to me, bro. And he just let him sit there and say this shit. Oh my God, he's a hypocrite. What's wrong with him? That's sick. I would love to see that argument.
I think that podcast would be the podcast, to be honest. Like, Cat Williams, etc. Like, those are epic, but this would be that would be an epic moment.
They gonna let me.
Wow. Do you see that, folks? How good is that? We got man, he gave all the deets, all the dramas, and then an Obama update. Boy, oh boy, it turns out everyone's a hypocrite. in this game called comedy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.
Cummings built her career on being the voice of women in comedy, on calling out powerful men, on standing up for what's right, and then she took money from one of the most oppressive governments on earth and called her fans racist for caring. She could have owned it, could have said, yeah, I took the money. I made a choice. People might not have agreed, but at least it would have been honest. Instead, she lied about growing up poor, deflected blame onto Live Nation, called her audience ignorant, folks, and contradicted herself across multiple podcasts. She didn't just lose fans, she lost credibility. And in comedy, credibility is everything. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Did Whitney cross a line?
That's Joe Rogan.
Or are people overreacting? And is there any way back from this? Thanks for watching.
No, let her burn. Dig through the ditches. All right, anyways, what do y'all think about this Whitney Cummings? I think she's a con woman. They all are. They all did this. They got their talking points from Riyadh themselves. And it just is what it is, man. These guys, if you looked up to them, they have failed you. And Whitney Cummings, I don't know, man. How much longer does she go on? Like, she just seems like a disaster. Just an absolutely disaster. But maybe you think differently. And that line, Meows, we like to foster a good comment section. A comment section that is open to your ideas, your opinions, and most of all, your thoughts and your feelings. So come on, share. But if you piss me off, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Peace.